Your Sunday morning destination to talk sports in Metro Detroit. This is the Suburban Forward 7 Sports Cave, and this is the place to talk about it. I am Brad Galli, joined alongside me, Tom Leyden, a young whippersnapper. We're happy to have on the set with us, giving him an opportunity. And from Detroit Sports 105.1, Matt Dery.
I'm at a loss, man. 10 years at this station, Brad. This is the first time I'm not hosting a show. I don't know what the heck to do.
You look good in that
just
seat,
direct me. Tell me what you want.
Just relax and be you.
This
is an opportunity for the people out there to actually learn who Tom Leyden is. Other than, back with sports, thanks. Thanks.
That's how I
thanks,
sound?
Carolyn.
Thanks a lot.
All right, thanks, Carolyn.
I've worked really hard at this for 14 years. I'm glad I've left an impression that's so robotic.
No, not at all.
A reminder to everyone out there watching, you drive the conversation with us. Interact with us on Twitter. We are all constantly checking. Use the hashtag 7SportsCave to ask us questions, bring up points. We will discuss them. Put your tweets on TV and give you your moment of fame. But so much to talk about. Call this the Olympic hockey postgame show and the Michigan State pregame show, if you will. We'll start with hockey. Your first takeaway as we watch this game unfold, the gold medal game, Canada beating Sweden in the gold medal game.
Good game, but what jumps out at me more than anything else, 19 goals for the United States in the preliminary rounds and the big goose egg once they got to the medal round. And I'm going to steal your line. Sorry, I'm not used to having to do this. But, they lost the game against Canada. The fans didn't care. And the team didn't care. And it was pretty clear that the American team didn't care, and it was real disappointing to see. But it just goes to show you the popularity or lack thereof of hockey in the United States, because once they were eliminated, no one cared what happened against Finland.
The hockey snobs will be all over you to say, what are you talking about? But you're right. The Russia game last Saturday morning, it was us against them again. It was like Cold War revisited, and it was a great game. The problem was after that game when TJ Oshie scores his 17th shootout goal to win it, we never saw it again. Because it's on NBC and because, we're all locked in the Sports Center all the time. Right, guys? I mean, that's what we watch, other than, of course, Circle 7. But, we never get to see the goal again. This was an opportunity to build the brand of TJ Oshie in American hockey, and instead, these dudes go out and completely crap the bed the last two games, and then admit afterwards, I was reading some of Suter's comments.
Yeah, incredible.
Well, we didn't show up. If they don't care, we don't care. And to be quite honest, this is not when the dream team for basketball goes out and does its thing. Everybody's following them. All the reporters here.
Crickets, nothing.
To say that they don't care, though, I think we were sitting here the first week we did this show, and I asked you and Stoney, who do you think's going to win the gold medal? Sweden and Canada were our picks. They lost to the two teams everyone thought had the best chance to win this tournament.
Brad, name me 7 players on the American hockey team.
Okay, Patrick Kane, Jonathan Quick, Jimmy Howard. We could go through and say Ryan Suter, TJ Oshie. Ooh,
wrong guy to
baby.
ask.
Yeah, wrong guy to ask. But I mean,
That's
if you go
5.
through.
No, I'm kidding.
I know.
You're rolling. Good for you.
To say that they don't care is strong, and I understand the disappointment.
They said they didn't show up.
They said they didn't show up.
How do you not show up to the Olympics?
Yesterday was a different story. In that bronze medal game, that was terrible. After 2-0, they might as well just take a nap.
They said they didn't have a great effort in the Canada game either, and yet Canada won the gold and they only lost 1-0. What if they would have tried a little bit harder? What if they were more prepared?
I debate it. Canada's that much better, and I think they played them tough. 1-0 against a team like that. I think Sweden was better than U.S., and that game was 3-0.
But so many people, including myself, were very impressed with how the United States had played throughout the entire preliminary round. Most people going in said, hey, U.S. has played the best. Canada has improved the most, which made that matchup so great. And, look at Price. He had a fantastic effort against the United States, and you got to give him credit. Canada, once again, proved they're the best team in the world.
I also think the U.S. has just got to get bigger on the blue line.
Did you see Jonathan Erickson had a couple turnovers today? That's a surprise.
Oh, there you go. Big E.
Big E. Michigan and Michigan State turning our attention to the game that some attention is on, but not nearly enough. Something we've talked about all week and getting prepared for the show. People don't get fired up for college basketball like we all think they should. And this is a big game today.
It just bothers me because I love it, and I'm still extremely ticked off after my alma mater got screwed last night. Hashtag screwed last night against Duke.
Where'd you go?
Syracuse.
Yeah, what happened?
We lost.
Yeah.
It happens. A split with Duke I'll take, but that was the worst call of all time. Give me that basketball and I'll show you the... No, I'm just kidding.
Hangover effect from the loss to Boston College, mind you, I should point out.
Congratulations.
But actually, you know what? Let's do that. As part of a little ongoing bet. Keep talking.
Uh-oh.
Because Tom's alma mater, Boston College, beat Matt's earlier this week in Syracuse.
Am I getting a prize?
Nope. For the rest of the segment, Matt has to wear a Sidney Crosby jersey to celebrate
man, I do?
the Canadian victory.
I'd say just throw
at least
that
drape
away.
it over
Throw
there.
it to the
Look
side.
at this. All
Throw it
right.
to the
Yeah,
side.
I love Sid the Kid, don't I? No, I don't. Wow. All right. Because BC beat Syracuse. All right, I'll do it.
There you go.
Syracuse last night.
You can just
down
hold
the
it.
stretch.
Here's the thing. What's so funny about the Crosby is people hate him here.
I don't
Oh
get
my
it.
gosh.
Back on track, Michigan State. Attention to this one. Something you jumped out, the stat of the streak the past 7 times these teams have met.
Michigan's won 5 of the last 7. People don't really think about that.
In the face when you said that.
It's pretty unreal. And they're in position now today to be at home and win the game. But what was happening before the game? Tell people what was going on with the fans.
We're getting tweets all over the place from people that 100 fans showed up before the allotted time to show up at 5 a.m. for tickets for students. So the Michigan campus police said, we're going to throw you in a room, and they threatened to arrest kids, allegedly, because they showed up too early. So there's buzz around the game, and then they say, you showed up too early for the line to get into your student tickets, so we're going to threaten to arrest you.
I've always said it, and when we did my commentary the first time I was here a couple of weeks ago, I said it. I want more people to care about Michigan basketball. I happen to think that the university, at times, does not care enough about its basketball program. We all know that football fuels the fire, but basketball is not getting enough credit. They could sweep Michigan State, guys, for the second time in 4 years today. Should they storm the floor? Absolutely, if that's the case.
Yeah.
They've been, unfortunately, I hate to use this term, but they've been little brother to Izzo in basketball and Michigan State for years.
Which I think
Why
is
not get excited about it?
I think it's a big reason why there isn't as much talk in this town about basketball still, because the rivalry was so one-sided for so long. But as you pointed out, 5 of 7, the tide is turning.
It gets lost in the shuffle. When you look at where you went to college, Milwaukee, where you went to college, Syracuse, that is the big deal during the winter. Where I went to college, Boston, you had the 4 major teams. Where we are now, you got the 4 major teams. It's understandable to me that Michigan and Michigan State hoops gets lost a little bit during the winter months, and they get all the attention they deserve come March, and that's what people anticipate and expect. And once March Madness starts, that's when people start zeroing in on Michigan and Michigan State. You would hope that the casual to maybe a little bit greater than casual fan will flip it over today and watch that game and get something out of it.
I think surely, especially since the Olympics are over. And we're going to let the fans voice their opinion on this show. We went out on the streets. Later, Jeremy Johnson will be with the people explaining the Michigan State rivalry.
Did he survive?
A little bit. He came out a little.
He's
little,
like a
little
funny.
roughed up.
He's a funny dude, and you go down to these hostile environments, you never know what can happen.
We should also point out, don't forget David Merritt's here. See, I'm
Yes.
back into that host role again.
You
I
are.
can't help
Stay
myself.
in your couch. Give me the ball. Stay focused. No, we're going to get into this game a bunch more throughout the show, but as we move on to another big topic that's been a big conversation in town for over a month now, Max Bola broke his silence. That was at least the headline that we saw everywhere yesterday. But he said absolutely nothing. At the scouting combine, he said he will talk to teams that will ask about his suspension from the Rose Bowl, but wouldn't talk about it on camera or with reporters. To me, silly. Nip it in the butt, get it done.
What a big mistake this kid is making. I don't know who is in charge of Max Bola's PR, but if you're out there watching, if you're in charge of Max Bola's public relations, you should be fired. Because the kid goes to the combine, and this is his chance. Everybody else, the tight end from Oregon that was snorting coke in the back seat, he's out there. I know he was. Well, I forgot his name. He'll be out there and front and center saying, "I'm sorry." Michael Sam, same thing. Everybody that's got baggage is talking about their baggage to get it out there. Bola acting cranky yesterday and contentious with reporters. That's where a PR person needs to say to the reporters, "Guys, football questions only." This is eventually going to come out because everybody in the league apparently knows what he did, except us here and people at Michigan State and the fans. Where's his apology? Google Max Bola apology.
No
there
way.
is none. He's never apologized to the fans. All those people that flew across country to California that have been waiting to get to the Rose Bowl.
Yep.
And he screwed up. Now, they ended up winning. He got bailed out. He was able to party with his teammates. But I think he's handling this all wrong, and when it comes out, he's going to have to then talk about it and answer to it. Just get it over with.
It's going to backfire on him for that very reason, because it's going to come out in a manner that he's not going to expect. He's going to constantly have to be on his toes. Somebody's going to let it out there, and it's going to break, and he may be shopping for groceries one day, and his phone's going to blow up with people saying, "What do you have to say now?" But if this is something personal, and I have no idea what it might be, but if it's something personal, and we all read message boards, and we see what might be the case in this case, I can understand to a certain extent why he personally wouldn't want to be the person to put it out there and say, "Hey, I dare you to put it out there," and then I'll react to it if and when it does come out.
It's not personal. You know why? They publicly suspended him. If they would have said, if D'Antonio would have said, Max Bola is being excused from the Rose Bowl for a personal matter, none of us would do anything. They called it a one-game suspension, and they put it out publicly. He is being reprimanded. He is facing a consequence for his choices. So it's not personal. It was made public by the school. And I have no problem with them saying nothing. Michigan State should be commended for how they handled it. it's on the family now to say something, or at least him, and to act how. I guess he was a total jerk yesterday at the combine.
Well, he was asked, do you think this will affect your draft stock? This won't affect my draft stock. Me holding on to this will not affect my draft stock. Do you think it affects his draft stock?
I don't know that Max Bulla is going to be the greatest NFL player no matter what he did on and off the field at Michigan State.
But if you're a GM, are you turned off by the fact that he was involved and was suspended?
No. I mean, it doesn't bother me at this stage of the game because Max Bulla is going to be so far down the chart in terms of where he's going to come in. I view Max as a guy who's going to come in. He's going to be an effort guy. He's going to make the team by playing special teams, and those guys aren't going to cost you a lot of money, aren't going to be a big risk, and he's not going to be a distraction if and when he gets to a team.
If I'm a GM, I wouldn't touch him right now because if I'm in the 5th round and I need a linebacker, and you know that the guy that is squeaky clean and is literally ready to take responsibility for everything, I'd take him over a guy right now that is kind of waffling on how he's going to act publicly right now. And that's unfortunate because he's a really good football player, but apparently his stock's falling for many reasons, and we'll see what happens.
He's handled things poorly, but a guy who's handling things very well, former Michigan basketball captain David Merritt will join us in the studio, as Tom mentioned, later in the show. And coming up next, Erin Nicole. You know her here on 7 Action News. She will join us in the cave with a spectacular story that is guaranteed to be enjoyed by all. This is the Suburban Ford 7 Sports Cave.
Guaranteed.
Guarantee it.
I like it.
Guaranteed.
One of the most fun things about this show, you are involved just as much as we are. Use the hashtag 7SportsCave on Twitter to interact with us. We're constantly checking, constantly monitoring. You see us here, but the other man and part of our team is Mike Foss, our producer in the control room, who's checking out social media too. Mike, what's the story today?
A lot of activity on social media this morning, guys, especially talking about the Tigers. Obviously, hot topic as spring training continues here. Let's get to some of your tweets, people using the hashtag 7SportsCave. Courtney, we're going to do a series of questions here. Courtney asks, which new Tiger will surprise us this year? Also, Colin wants to know what the biggest X factor in the bullpen will be. And then Chris asking what kind of numbers we can expect from Nick Castellanos this year, referring to some of the errors he had in the minors. So, guys, plenty of stuff to talk about here.
Tom, you want to take the bullpen here?
Yeah, I'll go bullpen first. Yeah. I think 8th inning is so key, and I think that Benoit was clutch in that role before he got promoted to the closer role last year. If they can get Rondon to fill that 8th inning spot this year and have that be the shutdown 1-2 punch of Rondon in the 8th and Nathan in the 9th, that's what's going to set any team apart. If you know, think about the fear that the Red Sox put into all their opponents last year when they knew that, oh boy, we better score before the 7th inning because we're not going to score after we get to the 8th
playoffs,
inning.
Snooze.
Yep.
You're not hitting anything.
You know, I'm with you about the Rondon zone. I think that's important, but left-handed relief out of the pen. I disagree with the Doug Fister trade still to this day because moving Smiley out of that spot, and I think Drew's going to be good. He's going to be just fine. Yeah. But him leaving the bullpen in that spot and leaving it open to Ian Kroll, a 22-year-old that the Nationals were willing to trade, and Phil Koch, God bless him, great guy. Hopefully he turns it around. But I think from the left side, that's going to be key. Who's going to do it? Who's going to step up and be the guy?
I got back from spring training, and people in this building and fans.
You have a nice tan, by the way.
Thank you very much. The sun was there. I was working hard.
I know, good gig. I like it.
One of the biggest concerns people had, Drew Smiley in this Fister deal. Ausmus has already said we're going to handle him very lightly. He's not going to necessarily be a guy that's going to be a starter the entire season. We'll monitor him if he doesn't going to start. If we need to pull a guy up to do a spot start. That's concerning already, going back to your point about the Fister deal.
I mean, I think that they have to limit his innings because he's a young guy, but I think he's going to be fine. If they have a day off, he'll get the day off as opposed to Porcello from back in the day. But I'm with Tom about bullpen. I mean, it's who's it going to be? And if Rondon doesn't step up in the 8th inning, 9th inning should be fine.
Let's talk about the new Tiger. I think it's very easy to say most eyes are going to be on Castellanos because it gets right to the question of what should you expect from him. They obviously expect a lot. They expect him to hit somewhere near 300 at least as a rookie to, solidify.
300?
I'd like to see him between 280 and 300. Yes, I would.
I completely agree. I completely
Nick
agree.
Castellanos
Let's
hit
see what
280?
What?
Completely agree.
What's acceptable?
21 years old.
What's acceptable? You want to try somebody
260.
out? You wanted the kid to hit 260 at third
with
base.
15 home runs and don't embarrass himself on the field.
Wow. Okay.
He's 21 years old.
I got higher expectations than 260.
Well, I think
the
he'll
Tigers
hit 300 in a few years. But how many rookies come in and hit 280 to 300?
Brennan Bosch was hitting like 400. Look at his career.
I'm leaving.
He's out of baseball. I know.
I'm walking out.
No, I sat and watched him take BP a couple days, and I went up to him after one of them. I said, "You hit the ball so hard," and he looks at me and goes, "I feel really, really good."
This is Castellanos?
Castellanos. He had a point last season where he said he was going through the motions, watching how everything went. He goes, once I figured out how the travel worked, once I figured out how the playoffs went, I've got that all in the back of my head. I know how that works. My focus is entirely on baseball. I think he's ready for those expectations.
Man, we'll see. That's interesting.
260.
I hope that, well, can we compromise, say 270? I mean, if we're
I would
gonna go
love
down that
Hey,
road,
Tiger
I'd
fans
like
would
to-
love 270.
I'd love
He
to
hits
see
260. People are going to call on your show every day saying he's a bust and saying he's a
Well,
disappointment.
hold on. If he's hitting fifth, I don't want him hitting 260, but who's hitting fifth?
Yeah, that's a good point. He hasn't talked about the lineup fully yet. Won't divulge at all. And I think, by the way,
I
Brett
want to. You
Ausmus,
got to ease him in.
my big takeaway overall more than anything is with Ausmus. He's a player first. He's still learning how to be a coach, and he'll still, I think, work that lineup out a lot more than Leland did. He's a lot less stubborn.
Did you guys hang out in Lakeland, you and Osmus?
We have the same
could
name.
I
There's
could
that
see
instant
that. Could you see
connection.
Galli and Osmus hanging out? Maybe going to Five Guys down in Lakeland?
There was a Five Guys. That's weird.
I
Were you
know.
stalking me there?
No. That was where the original was, back
Yeah.
down there. So
Right by. Oh wow.
I liked your piece on Omar Vizquel, and I think that Omar's going to be good with this infield.
Without a doubt.
I think he's
They
gonna
respect
be
him
very
immediately.
helpful. And
Big for Jose.
I think he'll help Castellanos on the defensive side too. 280, Matt. That's what I want.
280.
That's what I want.
We should make a bet right now.
Here we go. I want between 280 and 300. We'll see what happens.
Well, thank you, Mike, for checking in and keeping us in line with social media. Keep the tweets coming in. We are always looking here on the 7 Sports Cave for just much more. Good human interest stories are what we're all about. Erin Nicole found one this week. She is here with us in the cave. Good morning to you, Erin.
You know, Brad, signing day at Wayne State doesn't typically steal headlines like it would at Michigan or Michigan State, but this year the Warriors landed a player that's getting everyone's attention. Wayne State's newest signee won't break Joique Bell's rushing records or lead the Warriors back to the Division II National Championship game, but coaches are sure he'll inspire in a way no player has before.
Today we signed our first recruit for the class of 2019. We're very excited to offer a scholarship and have him sign it in front of you guys to Andre Russo. Let's give Andre a hand.
He'd love to play at Wayne State, but a kidney disorder has pushed his football aspirations to the back burner. Thanks to Team Impact, he'll join the Warriors sooner than anyone thought possible.
The way they introduced me into the team and gave me a jersey and a hat, it was pretty cool.
It's this very special moment for the team, and it kind of brings us together because we're bringing another brother. And whenever we accept a brother into the family, everyone feels good about themselves.
Andre will be on the sideline this season, helping coaches and players with whatever they need.
One day I hope I get to play with them, catch the ball a few times, throw the ball around. Just hope they don't tackle me.
We talk about, leaving your footprint and leaving legacies, and I think, Andre, you're the first person to leave their legacy in this type of way.
It means a lot, like more than $1 gajillion.
How awesome is that? Nice to see Wayne State helping Andre out, and also big thanks to Team Impact who were able to make this all possible. But, this is the first time that Wayne State has ever done anything like this. However, they said it probably won't be the last. They're hoping that Andre will be a stepping stone for other kids in the future. Brad, let's see your football skills. You ready?
Yeah.
Ready?
Uh-huh.
Mine are horrible. I'm sorry, that was a bad time.
Not bad. Better luck next time. I like that.
That was a good story. Congratulations, Andre. I hope that he enjoys himself. That's a really cool thing for Wayne State to do.
All the attention on the 76ers signing the kid with Down syndrome. Cool story right in our backyard.
No doubt.
Pretty neat stuff. When we get back, our man on the streets, Jeremy Johnson, hits Michigan's campus for some smack talk on Michigan State. And stay tuned, because these people aren't exactly the nicest about their big rival.
He's wearing a green shirt.
Oh, he is. Each week on the 7 Sports Cave, we send our own Jeremy Johnson out onto the streets to get the people's perspective. This week he drove out to Ann Arbor to Michigan's campus and got U of M fans' thoughts on today's game. Their responses, really sweet. Not really. Enjoy Jeremy with the people.
All right, thanks a lot. Well, we're here on the campus of U of M asking students to share their true feelings about the much anticipated rematch game between the Wolverines and Spartans. And let me tell you, they don't hold back. You excited about this weekend's game?
Oh, I'm very excited.
Can you give me your best trash talking line? Give me your best insult against Michigan State.
Well, I know they like their chant, go green, go white, but around here we think it would be more appropriate if the chant was can't read, can't write.
The library burned down. They lost both of their picture books. One was colored in, too.
So what does the average MSU student get on their SAT?
I don't know.
Drool.
We don't really hate MSU, we just feel bad for them. They hate us.
If there was an app out there to help MSU win this rematch game, what would it be?
If they had needed an app to win, just talent maybe?
I don't even think an app like that could exist. I mean, they have no game.
Well, I think if they created an app to teach MSU players how to watch game film without breaking their hand, that would be pretty useful for them.
If they weren't the Spartans, what mascot would appropriately describe MSU?
A little brother? Maybe like a remedial math magician? I don't know.
A piece of
and thin and young and lovely.
There's the We Work slogan this year for the U of M team. What would be MSU's slogan for their team?
Why work?
I think it would be more like, what is work?
If you can't get into college, go to state.
I really want to know if the starting five on this basketball team can spell Michigan State. That's all I want to know.
What do you think about my shirt?
It looks like vomit.
I didn't even realize that until just now.
You're wearing the wrong color.
I am?
Yeah, you're wearing green.
Oh, I didn't really notice. I just kind of got up this morning and kind of threw it on.
It looks good on you, but
thank you.
I don't know about this weekend.
In Ann Arbor, Jeremy Johnson, 7 Sports Cave.
He is the best.
Can you feel the venom from the people in East Lansing right now?
Wow. Strong responses from those fans.
I didn't even realize what I was wearing today, but this sweater would probably, if we were live from Ann Arbor today, probably wouldn't have gone
it's
over
like a
very
light
well.
vomit, I guess, on the scale of vomit green. Well, if you are a Michigan State fan and you're thinking about changing the channel, hold on, because we also set up a camera to let Spartans fans respond and sound off.
Nice. Equal time.
I usually consider myself a really nice person, but after seeing that segment Jeremy had, it's on.
It's on.
When you walk into a party, how can you tell who the U of M grads are? Just wait 10 seconds. They'll tell you.
How many Michigan fans does it take to change a light bulb?
1 to change the light bulb and 7 more to take credit for it. How do you get to Ann Arbor from East Lansing? East till you smell it, south till you step in it.
29 to 6. Negative 48 rushing yards.
Little sister. What do you call a good-looking girl on U of M's campus? A guest?
A visitor.
What does a Michigan fan do after they win the Rose Bowl? Turn off their video game system.
Half of the U of M fans didn't even go to U of M. We call them the Walmart Wolverines.
There it is. There's the
You knew that was coming.
It's like the State of the Union, you know? It's like
knew
the
that
State of
was
the Union
coming.
and the Republican response, right?
Oh, man.
Very true. Well, we got a big-time guest joining us here coming up after the break, at least one that Piston fans will want to talk to and hear about. John Lawyer, interim head coach of the Detroit Pistons, will join us here on the 7 Sports Cave when we return. So I did tell you on the Suburban Ford 7 Sports Cave we would be joined later in the show by David Merritt, former Michigan captain, who is dressing our model Tom Leyden
That's right.
today.
You're going to see much more attractive models later, but it's pretty cool what David's doing. He's given a portion of all the sales of his clothing line to a charity trying to enhance some education for kids who are a little bit they're less fortunate right now. So we're going to have David talk more about that and also get his thoughts on the Michigan State game coming up.
It is such a big game. And when you look at maybe the keys to that game, as far as the first go-around, Michigan State wasn't healthy. People said that was the big excuse. It's not an excuse anymore. I don't think it was then either. With McGarry out for Michigan, I think that all goes out the window.
No, but nobody ever talks about that. And look, MSU, with what they've done, has been terrific in terms of having to win with all these guys out, including Appling. Hasn't been 100% in weeks with that wrist. But Michigan lost Burke, Hardaway to the pros, and McGarry. So, you know, I think part of it balances out. MSU's had a tougher road to hoe with all the injuries. But the big key for me is going to be Stauskas because he hasn't had a big game since the last Michigan game. He had 19 that game. He hasn't had 19 since. So everyone talks about GR3 all the time. GR3 to me is a non-factor. I'm used to him not doing anything. So if Stauskas can get going again, Michigan could sweep the series.
You know, college basketball is so interesting to me because the coaches play such a significant role. And what we've seen is the recipe to beat Michigan, and that's shutting out Nick Stauskas. What I want to see is how the Michigan coaching staff counteracts that and what sort of alternative plan they have when Stauskas gets shut down. Does that mean that GR3 has to step up? Does that mean that Walton plays more? You know, LeVert maybe scores more offensively? I'm curious to see how it all plays
Questions that will continue to unfold throughout the hour. But at this time, we are joined in our big Suburban Ford 7 Sports Cave interview of the week with Pistons head coach John Lawyer, who joins us via Skype at the Auburn Hills practice facility. Coach, thanks for stepping in with us here on your off day.
Sure thing, no problem.
Obviously taking over a job that was watched by a lot of Pistons fans here. And with, I guess, met with disappointment in the early part of the season. What have been your first impressions of being the guy in charge of this team the past few days? couple
Well,
weeks?
I think we've showed glimpses of what we're capable of. We just got to do it on a more consistent basis. And every single night, you know, we kind of got to play the same way, and I think we'll be fine.
Hey, John, it's Matt Dery. You mentioned, you know, before about effort. Like a couple of times you've had to use the words energy and effort. And Larry Brown used to always say you can't coach and you shouldn't have to coach effort. I thought the last 2 nights your guys brought it. Positive thing, or do you look back and go, man, I wish we had that kind of effort in Charlotte the other night?
No, I think for the most part we brought that effort. We've had a quarter here or there that maybe we didn't play as well as we, you know, need to play, or play with that same fire and energy that we played with. But overall, I thought we played pretty hard. And, you know, you don't really want to, there's so many things you need to coach and improve on. And the one constant that, you know, you can bring every night is your energy and your effort. And we've got to continue to do that.
Coach Tom Leyden here. Give us your thoughts on Josh Smith and what you've seen from him this year, because he's such an enigma. People see him as a talented guy, but he comes in with the big price tag. Some feel he's a little bit displaced without being able to find a home. He fires away from three-point range so frequently. Last night, a frustrating shot where he's got his foot on the line. How do you coach a guy like that, and what's his best fit with this team?
Well, Josh is a very versatile player. I mean, we've asked him to do a lot of things. He's played some 3 throughout his career in Atlanta, and we've pretty much played him a majority of the minutes at the 3. We ask him then to play at the 4. So, you know, Josh can score in a variety of ways. Josh has super length defensively. Had a couple key blocks for us last night. Josh is a savvy basketball player. I mean, he's been in the league now going on 10 years. And, you know, he knows the coverages. He knows the personnel around the league. Josh is a guy that, you know, needs to keep spreading the knowledge that he has to his teammates and, you know, perform each night on the floor.
John, fans always have an opinion about what a team should do, and as a coach, you have to focus on the day-to-day tasks. A big message around this town is that fans would love, they say, this team to tank so they can keep the draft pick. You have a job to do. How much do you look at the betterment of this team's future, and how much do you focus on the day-to-day?
We just focus on the day-to-day. I don't know very many coaches that could do it the other way. We come in every day, and our first mindset is to get them better as individuals, whether you're in the rotation or whether you're outside the rotation. And then collectively, you know, we try to get our schemes down each and every day, and we kind of had to go on the fly a little bit, adding some things offensively. But, you know, those things don't even really enter your mind. I would hope they wouldn't enter your mind as a player. You come in every day, you're a professional, you have a job to do, whether that's preparing for that individual game or preparing your skills for something down the road.
Hey, John, Tom mentioned Josh Smith earlier. Who is the leader of the team right now? Who's the guy that you're kind of leaning on as a veteran to, you know, to pass along your message? And number 2, could it even be Andre Drummond? Because he's always positive, and he's the guy I know you don't have to worry about at age 20.
It kind of changes nightly. You know, I kind of lean on all of them. We should all lean on each other. We don't have that one guy that you could say, you know, that all-star guy that maybe, you know, every night's going to perform, you know, in a particular way. We've been at our best when we're very balanced. When I look down and you see 5 to 6 and sometimes up to 7 double-figure guys. We've been very consistent for the most part. We didn't rebound the ball last night, but we've been very consistent having 2 and sometimes 3 of our bigs having double-figure rebounds. But, you know, I think this team's built around leaning on each other. There's not one individual guy that's bigger than the team. There's not one guy that, you know, has to be that high scorer on that particular night. And when we're good, it's kind of spread around.
John, we know it's your off day, like we said, and we know the goal is to get into the playoffs. So thanks so much for taking time in your busy schedule to join us here.
Sure thing, anytime.
Thanks, John.
Sure thing.
Well, this past Tuesday, one of the longest standing streaks in basketball in this state at the high school level fell after 30 years. The top assist mark for career in high school basketball, David Solano introduces you to the new record holder.
Evan Kratz has written a chapter to remember in the Michigan high school basketball record books. the senior point guard from Allen Park Intercity Baptist, recently broke the state's high school all-time assist record in the Chargers' victory over Rochester Hills Lutheran Northwest.
He ended up with 10 assists, so he has 732, and he passed Eric Turner.
Turner previously held the record of 726 assists that stood for 30 years.
During the whole year, my assistant coach was like, you might have a shot at the state record, but I didn't really pay much attention to it. Even coming up to the last game, I didn't really know how many I needed to get.
Evan had a chance to set the record in front of his dad, Mark, who's coached the Intercity Baptist varsity basketball team for 24 years.
You never imagined that you would be coaching your son when he started 24 years ago. And you would never imagine that your son would be having an honor like this.
And it's an honor that Evan's brother and teammate Garrett can also enjoy.
I've dreamed the day where I get to play with him, and the last 2 years have been a real blessing.
Well, he's knocked down a ton of shots for me. Someone has to put the ball in the bucket, and he's definitely done it a lot.
It's always been my dream to coach my children, and I was able to coach my daughter, and she went on, and then I've been able to coach my 2 boys.
You could say the Kratz family has a knack for athletic success at Intercity Baptist.
He is second all-time in assists for the state of Michigan in soccer. He missed it by 2. So he was very close to making both assists in soccer and basketball, and he made the dream team.
I couldn't have asked for a better team to play for, a better school to play for, and I have the best coaches in the world again.
In Allen Park, David Solano for the 7 Sports Cave.
That is one ridiculously talented family.
He's a giving kid.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to pass in high school. Nowadays, to see that kind of a story, that's pretty sweet.
When David went and did the story and I'm watching it, I'm looking at the highlights and I'm not noticing any consistency with who's scoring. Oh, this is a story about the guy giving the ball.
Right.
Honestly, that was my first reaction. So cool. Nice job by him on the record. Nice story by David.
Looked like you at Brother Rice when you were dishing.
In intramural. I got cut, baby. I got cut. Well, each week we highlight a high school play of the week. Our friends over at State Champ Sports Network provide us with that. And this week, it's a good one. Marion and Mercy in the Girls Catholic League Final. Marion up 1. All they got to do is inbound the ball and the game's over. Taylor Jones steals it and wins it for the Marlins. The shot beats the buzzer, 55-54 the final. Mercy picks up the Catholic League title. It's a smooth criminal right there in our high school play of the week. Suburban Ford 7 Sports Game rolls on after this. Welcome back into the Suburban Ford 7 Sports Cave. His ears have been ringing all day. We've been talking all about him. David Merritt, former Michigan basketball captain and former radio color commentary analyst for Michigan, joins us here in studio. You've got something to tell us about here. A pretty unique clothing line that you focus your attention on that's doing more than just selling clothes.
Yeah, it's just an honor to be here. I really appreciate you having me. But we started this cause-based line, which is called Merit, the word merit. And the premise is to impact youth and education through stylish clothes. And so we actually give 20% of our entire revenue line to fund college scholarships for youth in Detroit. And not only that, we put them through this 4-year program through their high school career. So it's a big cycle of service, and it's really sweet for our customers because they get to see their true impact and follow our students throughout the program. So it's really good.
You except that it's funny. It's not your name is spelled differently than the name. I like that. That means you're
It's a concession of sorts.
Well,
he's a giver.
That's the premise of the brand, and so it's the word merit. It's character or conduct deserving honor or esteem. So it's not just about me.
I like you give money to these kids, but you're also, dumping money into helping kids is one thing, and it's a great thing, but you're monitoring them. You're also helping them out and making sure their future's bright.
Yeah, we take them in the 9th grade. We have them for 4 years throughout their high school career. The program's called FATE, and we're in its 2nd year. We have 23 10th grade students that go primarily to the Jalen Rose Leadership Academy. Okay. And so if you hop on our new website, you can actually get to see and follow who our students are. So it's really about the impact of the purchase.
Who's with us today?
We have Chatoris and Tara, who are sporting a few of our looks. Chatoris has on our new Merit Way shirt, which is a...
Hold on, let me get up there, because I'm
sporting something
too.
Too.
Yeah,
right?
me too.
Right. You said they'd be better looking than you, Tom, and
this ought to be good.
This ought to be good. It's all about style, and it's about comfort. Things that you can easily put on. They increase the style in your closet, but you're going to feel great. The fabric, the look is really fresh and unique.
Will you get John Beeline to wear some of this?
John,
maybe on the sidelines today?
Coach actually came in.
Sweatshirt?
Yeah, we opened up a storefront in Ann Arbor, and he came by a few weeks ago, him and his family, and got a lot of Merit stuff. So
Nice.
he's a big supporter.
You know, you came in here to this program when it was just breaking through under Beeline. One of the great stories of a guy who earned the spot on the team, and you learned a lot about Beeline. Why do you think he's been able, besides the recruiting angle, to get the good players in there? What has he sold to the players that's made them believe?
I think, and I keep saying this, but his perspective is unbelievable. That's first year. I mean, we're 10-22. We're losing, but he has this uncanny ability to just focus on today, focus on the moment, and his entire philosophy is let's get better today. And he's not talking about, okay, let's win a national championship. Like, how can we get better in this practice? How can we get better in this film session? And for a team that had to create a culture, that's the culture you want to create. Let's not think about what's on the outside, what the fans are saying, what the community is saying, but let's focus on the guys in this room and how can we get better. And that type of perspective when you're losing allows you to stay focused, and when you're winning, it allows you to stay focused. So he's got a great philosophy.
All right, ignore his philosophy for a minute and focus on the outside today. Give us your perspective of what you think the biggest key is.
For which team?
For the game. What should fans be watching today? Yeah, let's go with your team.
Well, I think anytime Michigan plays Michigan State, anytime you play State, it's all about toughness. If you can match their physicality and their toughness and let them know that you're going to be here all game, it's going to be a good game. Like, you're going to be in the game. But if you come out and they sense any type of softness from the get-go, it's going to be an entirely different matchup. So I think always when you're talking Michigan State, you've got to come out, you've got to throw that first punch and let them know that you're here to play.
You played guard. Derek Walton is really good, and I don't think probably gets enough credit. I thought he outplayed Appling in the first game, and that's one of the reasons why Michigan won. Didn't have his best game last Saturday. Frank the Tank in Wisconsin rolled you, but now you get Walton today coming back and playing well. You might sweep him.
I mean, Walton, following Trey Burke's footsteps is no easy task for anybody, but he's been spectacular. I mean, I think you've seen over the last 5 or 6 games his ability down the stretch to make plays. I mean, he is a guy that is continuously, when Michigan is in these tough games, that is making a play down the stretch, and that's a great ability to have, especially as a freshman.
You hooked me up. What about these guys?
Yeah.
Why are you wearing green?
Dude, I know.
We got to get you in some. We've got a Victor's tee. Victor's hoodie for you.
This is really nice. Check this out.
I want the name, baby. I want your name.
This is
the kind of name. The name of the company here.
Merit hoodie for you.
There we go.
Nice.
I love it.
There it is.
Yeah,
sorry, State fans.
Here's the information underneath. MeritGoodness.com. Opening today, right?
It's opening today.
All right. Get out there and help some kids. Get educated and make a better future here in this town. You look good.
And you get to look good doing it.
We do. We get to look very good doing it. David, thanks so much for joining us, bud.
Appreciate it.
A lot of fun. After this, learn about one of the most unique basketball talents in this state. David Solano with another story about a really inspiring kid who's pretty darn good at hoops. We are nice and comfortable here on the Suburban Ford 7 Sports Cave in our new Merit gear.
Hey-o.
You look good.
Thanks, buddy. So do you.
I feel good.
Do you? It's comfortable.
Good. It's very comfortable.
Yeah.
Well, Mike Foss doesn't look as good as us, but he's in the control room monitoring social media. You're handsome, Mike, but you're not wearing what we're wearing.
I know. You left me out of the party here. I'm gonna remedy that. I'm gonna get David before he leaves here. Well, anyway, let's go back to social media. Again, plenty of topics being discussed here. People using that hashtag 7SportsCave. Of course, the NFL Combine going on this weekend. We saw yesterday Taylor Lewan made some headlines for his time in the 40. Chris on Twitter talking about people salivating over 40 times at the Combine, asking if the Lions will take a wide receiver at 10, hashtag old bit.
Yeah.
And also Kevin asking about the Daytona 500. Of course, it is Daytona 500 day. Who do you guys like for today's race, or do you just not care? Guys?
Let's get to the Daytona 500 in a minute. When I was driving in, I was listening to 105.1, and there was talk about Johnny Manziel and his height, and he was asked, do you wish to comment on your measured height? That's where we've gotten with the Combine.
Oh, man, I hate the Combine. I really do. I hate the Combine. It's
the
like going to a restaurant and ordering the shrimp scampi and then wanting to know exactly how it's put together. I just go there as a team, take your GM, take your scouts, do your job. And it's all conjecture and nonsense anyway, because you tell me the last draft pick that you nailed that the Lions selected.
It's entertainment. The NFL has done this right. And look, I'm not sitting here telling you that I'm watching guys running the 40. but it's coverage. We love football. We can't get enough. Ask 10 people on the street today, what would they rather talk about? The Lions draft pick or the Michigan State game? They would talk about number 10.
Listen.
And Christopher's tweet is right. They might take Mike Evans at number 10 if Watkins is gone.
For me, the best thing that the Combine has done is it's gotten the crazy news conferences of Manti Te'o and Michael Sam out of the way before they get to their team.
All right, I'm going to jump ship. We'll get to the Daytona 500 in a little bit. We are excited about it, of course. It's,
Kevin Harvick.
Kevin Harvick. Okay, there you go. Who's your pick?
Jimmy Johnson. Is he still racing?
Safe.
There you go. I'm going to go with Brad Keselowski.
Hometown boy.
He's from Rochester. I'm going to pull up my own tweet. Mike, can you pull this up here on the iPad? Shopping for kids today. Clearance
look at that.
Who's this? Matt Dery?
Dery.
Is that how you say it? Dery was shopping last night. What do you find on the clearance aisle?
Prince Fielder on the left. In the middle was a I love Justin Bieber shirt, or I still love Justin. And then Max Bulla. So I think the Bieber shirt was going for $2, the Bulla jersey for $20, and the Prince t-shirt I think was like $6. But it just was funny. They were all in a row in the clearance rack yesterday at Kohl's.
What would you wear?
Oh, of those?
If you had to pick.
Bieber last.
Yeah,
I would
Bulla
never
for
wear
me.
Bieber.
Bulla would be first.
I guess the Bulla, although I'm mad at him right now, and I think he's handling himself poorly. Prince, is that a double XL?
Otherwise, great stuff to watch the car
I got
with.
kids.
Well, hey, Michigan signing day is always a big deal for kids in high school around this area. For one kid in particular in Lake Orion, he never in his wildest dreams thought playing college basketball would be something he could accomplish. David Solano shows he proved himself absolutely wrong.
You won't see Joey Romsek practicing on the basketball court at Lake Orion High School. Instead, you'll find him hooping it up with his teammates from the Michigan Challengers at a different facility. Romsek has an inspirational story that's all about the courage to fight despite his disability.
I was born with T12 spina bifida, which is your spinal cord is basically detached from itself on T12. I'm not a big human anatomy person. I don't know where that is. I've always been the more disabled person on the team and, throughout the wheelchair world.
That hasn't stopped Romsek from earning a wheelchair basketball scholarship to Edinboro University in Pennsylvania. His dad, John, who's also the head coach of the Michigan Challengers, has been instrumental in the process.
I'm impressed with him because of not just his physical challenges, but challenges that he's had in his young life so far. He'll be playing for a coach by the name of Jim Glatch, an outstanding coach and a former Paralympic coach.
And here's something extra special. Romsek is the first athlete from Lake Orion High School to earn a wheelchair basketball scholarship.
Joey overlooks his disability, and so do our students, and he realizes what athletics supplies as far as life's lessons, and he has the discipline and the selflessness and the courage that's demonstrated.
It's been a long road here. Definitely am thankful to be where I am right now.
He continues to work hard in school, and he works hard on the basketball court, and that's what I'm most proud of him about.
Reporting in Lake Orion, David Solano for the 7 Sports Cave.
Pretty cool story. Pretty cool kid.
Congratulations.
He's awesome.
Sochi Olympic Games are closing up, and they're having similar problems as they did in the opening ceremonies.
Dude, Brad, don't do it. You're going to wreck people's viewing experience.
Oh, my gosh. Spoiler alert.
Oh, please.
Get out of here.
I'm excited. It's almost over.
Well, we'll have our final thoughts coming up after the break as the Suburban Sports Cave wraps up right here. Stay tuned.
That was a real picture.
Real picture. Real picture. That's happening.
It happened already.
Well, you have sounded off here on the Suburban Ford 7 Sports Cave. This is now our opportunity to do the same. Enjoy now our final thoughts leading off. Matt Dery.
Am I looking into this camera right here?
This one right here.
How about that Bob Ficano piece? Can't wait to see that. Where's Ross Jones? Anyway, no, when you talk about the Lions, folks, can we get off of this fan worriness about Ndamukong Suh? I got sources telling me Ndamukong Suh wants to stay. He wants to be here. Let's get a new deal done, and let's keep Suh, Calvin, and Stafford here together. Jim Caldwell has said, these guys know this, it's time to win now. The time is now. You have to have Suh on your team. I think it is great fodder, especially on my show, noon to 3, on 105.1, where people call in and say, hey, let's trade Ndamukong Suh. Let's stockpile picks. You stockpile picks, you're restarting again. They want to win now. They've got players here that they feel the window is closing, so have to do it now. The best thing you could do is keep Ndamukong Suh here, bring that cap number down, and not worry about him. So he signs with Jay-Z or World Wide West. So what? I'm being told he wants to be here. Embrace that he's the best defensive player on your team. Stop talking about trading him or letting him walk. Why can't we just embrace that he's here, keep him here, and the Lions will actually get this right?
In case you missed that, Matt's got a show on 105.1 from 12 to 3 on weekdays.
Thank you. There is nobody smoother with that little plug, man. You drop that at a... It's good, though. That's why you're here, right?
Cross-promote, and I appreciate you guys giving me the forum.
Tom, here's your forum to sound off on your final thought.
Okay, I'm going to talk hockey. And by choosing not to send NHL players to the Olympics 4 years from now, NHL owners, if they do so, will be consciously choosing to settle for life in their own myopic world of mediocrity. Whoa. Hockey is a great sport. I'm a fan, you might be a fan, but the fact is at least 7 out of 10 people in the U.S. couldn't care less. The Olympic Games are supposed to be the platform to change that a little bit, to showcase the best game in the what we love in the world and what truly amounts to the most significant and meaningful all-star tournament. But the league's governors want to protect the game for the incredibly passionate but strikingly small minority that love the NHL. They call it protecting the core. Choosing to do that means you forego the revenues that come from increased exposure, increased jersey sales, name recognition, God forbid, and most important, the presentation of your sport on a global scale at its highest and most entertaining level. That pursuit, it seems, might be over. It's about what the owners have and how they make the most of that, no matter how small the piece of the pie really is.
Do you blame Mike Ilitch for being mad that Henrik Zetterberg is going to miss the next 8 weeks?
I do not blame him for being mad. I don't think the problem is here in Detroit. I think the problem is across America as a whole.
Well, we ran with your great opinions, me right out of time, but I'll have my opinion as we continue to go on in the weeks coming forward.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. We have so much to talk about on this show always.
And just pick a winner, Michigan State today.
Pick a winner? I'll go with Michigan State. Gary Harris takes over.
All right, there it is. That was Brad Galli's commentary.
How about you?
No, we just wanted Brad Galli's commentary.
I'll
say MSU also. I think MSU is going to stay.
All right, I'm Michigan. At home, protecting the court.
WXYZ.com. Interact with us all week on Twitter at Tom Leyden, at Brad Galli, at Dery 105.1. This is the 7 Sports Cave. Thanks for watching.